What's up, everyone? After a couple of week hiatus, I am back with another edition of my MLB or NFL trend report. This one for the dates of December 21st through December 25th. I've got 4 trends, and I've also got 2 league-wide angles, since I know some of you guys like those. We're going to get right into them, and as always, I advise that you never make a bet based on a single trend. If you're using trends as part of your handicapping process, I recommend that you look at all of what you feel are the relevant trends for each game, weigh them out, and see if they weigh out more heavily on one side or the other. For this first trend, we are going to look at the Buccaneers at home when the total is between 42.5 and 49. And we're going back to January 23rd of 2022. We'll hit the SDQL button, and you'll see that the Buccaneers are 0-8-1 against the spread, failing to cover by about 7.7 points per game. And this is active on Christmas Eve when the Buccaneers host the Jaguars. Let's go right to trend number 2. And for this one, and before I get to it, guys, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. Also, hit the bell for notifications. I would greatly appreciate it. For this next trend, we are looking at the Saints when they're playing between their 13th and 16th games of the season, and we're going back to the 2021 season. We'll hit the SDQL button, and you'll see that the over-under is 0-10. No overs, 10 unders. These 10 games went under by an average of over 10.5 points per game. And you can see that this is active on Thursday night when the Saints visit the Rams. So let's move right into trend number 3. And if you haven't already, I would greatly appreciate you hitting the thumbs up to like this video. For trend number 3, we're going to look at the Dallas Cowboys when they are coming off a game where they allowed 30 or more points, so previous opponents' points greater than or equal to 30. And we're going back to December 13th of 2020. We'll hit the SDQL button. You can see that the Cowboys are a perfect 10-0 straight up and against the spread, covering the spread by nearly 2 touchdowns per game. And it is active on Christmas Eve when the Cowboys visit the Dolphins. Let's move into trend number 4. And guys, if you have any trends that you would like me to look up for this week's NFL games, or if you found any that are active for this week's NFL games, post them in the comments. We'd all love to see them. For this next trend, we're going to stay with the Cowboys, and we're going to look at them when they are on the road. When the line is less than or equal to 6, so we're basically saying as long as they're not an underdog of more than 6 points. And when their previous game was also an away game, and we're going to go back to the 2018 season. And we'll hit the SDQL button. And you'll see that the over-under is 0-12. No overs, 12 unders. These games stayed under by an average of 10.5 points per game. And you can see that it is active on the Christmas Eve game where the Cowboys visit the Dolphins. So now we're going to switch gears here and look at some league-wide angles. I've got one for sides and I've got one for totals that we're going to look at here. Before I get to those, though, I do got to tell you guys, I'm having a hell of an NFL season. I'm ranked number 1 at WagerTalk this NFL season in win percentage and ROI. I'm number 2 in profit. I've gone 10-0-1. So I'm undefeated on my last 11 5% football max bets. So right now, over at dbbets.com, I've got a couple of things going on here. First, if you scroll down, this is the most important thing here, is your WagerTalk NFL Road to the Super Bowl special. You get the rest of my NFL season for $25 per week. It's going to cover you for these last 3 weeks of the regular season, the playoffs, and of course, the Super Bowl. Gives you 7 weeks of NFL action for only $175, works out to $25 per week. And guys, like I said, look up here at the top of the page on the left, my hot streaks. 10-0-1, undefeated streak on my last 11 5% football plays. That's my top 5% is the top rating. NFL this season, number one at WagerTalk in ROI, 32.7%. Number one in win percentage, 68.3%. Number two in profit, plus 50.4 units for the season. So if you're betting $100 per unit, do the math. I mean, you're up thousands of dollars with my NFL plays this season. It's not just that. I mean, going back 3 months since September 18th, I'm number one at WagerTalk in ROI, number one in win percentage, number two in profit. So if you don't just want to grab my NFL, it might be a smart move to grab a long-term all-access package, which if you scroll further down the page below that WagerTalk special, you can scroll down to long-term and seasonal passes. Check out the All Sports Pass drop-down box here. You can get a 30-day, 90-day, or 1-year all-access pass, which gives you everything I release in every sport I cover. And the sports I cover are NFL and college football, Major League Baseball, and NBA and college basketball. Awesome time to get on board, and that NFL special through the Super Bowl is an excellent deal at just $25 per week. Check that out at dbbets.com. So let's now get to those 2 league-wide trends for this week. And for this first one, we're going to look at one that looks set aside for this, that's active for one side this week. And so these are league-wide angles, as I said. So these don't pertain to any one particular team. It's going to apply to any team that fits all the parameters in this query. So we're looking at line greater than or equal to 10.5. So we're looking at big underdogs that are underdogs by 10.5 or more points. Streak is less than or equal to -2, which means this team has also lost at least their last 2 games straight up. This team has a season win percentage between 25 and 40%, and their opponent has a winning percentage greater than 50, so they're playing against a team with a winning record. We're going to go back the last 10 seasons to the 2013 season. We'll hit the SDQL button. You can see that these big underdogs are 1-41 straight up, 4-36-2 against the spread. So they've only covered the spread 10% of the times, which means if you fade these teams, you've cashed 90% winners. These teams failed to cover the spread by nearly 9 points per game. And it's active on Saturday, as we are supposed to fade the Chargers and ride the Buffalo Bills on Saturday. And that brings me to the league-wide angle that's going to point us to a total for this week. We're looking at games played on Monday, so Monday Night Football. If it's after week 2 of the season, so we're throwing out the first 2 weeks of the season, we're looking at a team that's playing on Monday after week 2 of the season that is coming off a loss in which they were favored. So they're a straight up favorite loss. We're going back to the 2019 season. We'll hit the SDQL button. And look at this, the over-under, 0-21. No overs, 21. All 21 games went under the total, and they went under the total by about 8.5 points per game on average. You can even see there was 2 overtime games in this result, and they still stayed under the total. You can see that this is active on Christmas night. Monday night when the Eagles host the Giants. And guys, that is going to do it for my NFL trend report for this week. Again, don't forget to head over to dbbets.com and grab my NFL through the Super Bowl special. I'm having a killer NFL season. You don't want to miss these last 7 weeks or so of winners. Get that right now. And as always, best of luck on all of your wagers this weekend.